Enter the realm of KSBM Radio's creation. Student-led from inception to narration. Crafting content from dawn until dusk. All students involved in the work and the fuss. In the heart of Townview where voices reside. Student-led discussions where ideas collide. From interviews with leaders, peers, and businesses. Just watch us work, creating innovative content. Every aspect managed with student finesse. From podcast production to social media press. No task too daunting, no challenge too grand. KSBM Radio, we taking a stand. KSBM Radio, students leading the way. Every task idea, we seize the day. Witness now as all of our efforts break through. KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm Des, joined by my co-hosts,
Santi,
Jade,
Juan.
And today we continue our SBM 50 and TMC 30 Alumni Series, where we celebrate graduates who once sat in the same classrooms we do now. Our guest, Mr. LaMarcus Martin, a proud graduate of the Health Magnet, class of 1997. After high school, he served 10 years in the U.S. Navy, including time living in Italy and traveling the world. Following his service, he earned degrees in radio, TV, and film, communications, and public relations, and today he works as a creative media designer with the Texas Department of State Health Services. Mr. Martin, welcome back to Townview. We're excited to hear your story today and lessons you want to share with us. Is there anything you'd like to share to our listeners before we start?
First of all, just thank you for inviting me. It's almost surreal coming back to the campus. I graduated in 1997, so just to see the students, you guys, you ladies, to look at this studio, this looks amazing. To see what you guys are doing, I'm very impressed. Just excited to help out and support.
Okay. With that being said, we'll move on to our first question, which is, why did you choose the High School of Health Professions, and what made it the right choice for you?
I chose the High School for Health Professions because at the time, outside of my neighborhood high school, it seemed to be a place that would present a challenge to me and just offer me an opportunity to be exposed and be around people and ideas that otherwise I wouldn't be around in my own neighborhood.
And when you think back to your time at High School Health Professions, what is one memory that stands out the most?
One memory that stands out the most is I actually met my wife here. I met my wife here in 9th grade. I met my wife, and when I first saw her, I told a friend of mine, and the friend, I still know him to this day. His nickname was Doughboy. That's what we called him in high school, right? Because he's a little, weight on, so we called him Doughboy. So I said, Doughboy, that's gonna be my wife.
Ooh.
And he just started doing what you're doing right now. He's like, what? Get out of here. And she ultimately became my girlfriend. And this year we'll be married 28 years.
Whoa. You was in it to win it.
I was in it to win it, man. Yeah. But other than that, there was also a sense of unity here at Townview. And so that's something that stands out. The culture, the people, and just a place to have an opportunity to sort of grow and just foster these ideas that I kind of have now.
Well, that's really interesting. But what was the culture of high school back then, and not all Townview as well?
So Townview happened in my 11th grade year. So when we all sort of formed together from all the other school districts across the ISD or the other magnet schools, it was a very competitive sort of environment, also supportive, because you have all of these magnet schools coming together. You have like law, you have business, you have science, and you have us health, and you have, I think, education or something like that. So it was very competitive. It was like, our school is the best, our school is the best. And so over time, we sort of transitioned that level of competitiveness to like a unity. Like we're all diverse and we're all different. And so for me, it was just a great culture that I remember the best here at Townview.
I think that's still the way it is now. We still there's still very much like the competition between schools, but then you see students from different schools work together and have something happen from that.
Absolutely.
So you said you graduated in 1997. What was the most memorable thing that you can remember in senior year?
Senior year, the biggest thing I think I can remember is like the anticipation. Like I've been to school. I've from kindergarten to pre-K to 97 at the time to my senior year. So I was just highly anticipated to like I'm about to step out into the world. Like whatever that means. Is it college? Do I get a job? And so for me, the biggest thing about 97 or my senior year was this is the year of anticipation. Like, oh man, like what's next? I'm ready. I'm ready to tackle the world. That was the main thing that really stands out my senior year.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same right now.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. But it was a great feeling because it was really like the start of something. And honestly, Townview sort of created that space for me to sort of like leapfrog the rest of my life up until today. So it was a great time.
After the School of Health Professions, you went to the U.S. Navy. What led you to that choice?
So what led me to the U.S. Navy right after high school is because honestly, during high school, I never had any preparation for college. Like I come from a background in a household, low income neighborhood, single parent household. And so growing up, I didn't really have the exposure to college, like going on college tours, taking a SAT, taking a PSAT. So honestly, the military at the time, it just seemed like the only opportunity I could take advantage of at the moment to sort of like leave the area and be exposed to even more things. And then through the military, that's when I had an opportunity to go to college and further my education.
In the U.S. Navy, you just said you went all over. So we actually want to ask, you've traveled and visited many countries around the world. What has been the biggest lesson you learned from moving around through all these places?
The biggest lesson or the biggest takeaway is probably embracing other cultures and realizing we can all exist together. We all come from different backgrounds. We all speak different languages. We all have different religious preferences, just different backgrounds. And so the biggest thing for me in the military, it just allowed me to actually go out and be exposed to these countries and places that I either read about or I saw on TV. And it kind of just put me in that time.
And how did you learn that lesson? Like what were the steps or what experience led to that?
Honestly, just from being outside, as you guys say, you gotta go outside, you gotta be outside. So honestly, the biggest thing is just being outside. And I give you an example. I lived in Italy for like 6 years, and the best thing I could have done was live. So you get an opportunity. I had an opportunity to live on base or live off base, and so I chose to live off base into the Italian community. And so that was the best experience I had. I didn't speak Italian. I had no idea how to communicate, what sort of food they have, what things they don't have that I'm used to. So the biggest takeaway for me is just jump out there. And just jumping out there, I immersed myself and I became exposed and I became comfortable.
I have a follow-up question. So you traveled to other countries after that. So what made you make that choice after taking that leap of faith, kind of?
So initially after taking that leap of faith, it kind of allowed me to realize that anything's possible. Like beyond Townview, the furthest I've ever been was probably like Oak Cliff. I lived in West Dallas. So West Dallas to Oak Cliff, that was the furthest I've ever been in my life at that point. And so now you're telling me I'm joining the Navy and I'm getting on a ship and I'm sailing around the world, or I'm living in Italy. Now my mind is like expanded. It's like, okay, anything's possible. At first, from West Dallas to Oak Cliff, that was the only possibility. So now it's like, you know what, I can go anywhere.
That's amazing.
So today you serve as a creative media designer for the Texas Department of State and Health Services. What does a typical day look like for you?
My role is in communication, and it varies from graphic design, video editing, photography, graphic animations, and things like that. So every day is different. I work on different initiatives and different projects. For example, a couple weeks back, measles was on the rise here in Texas. So I created a lot of material such as flyers, brochures, small, YouTube reels and things like that to sort of just give the public awareness about measles and how to protect themselves.
And how did you get into that department? What was the story getting into that?
So the story of getting into sort of like the creative world was after I finished the military, I moved to Austin. Me and my wife, we moved to Austin, and I started utilizing my GI Bill where they pay for college. And while going to college, it was just a general studies sort of degree plan. And I worked at a sneaker store while going to college, because growing up, especially like during my era, we were big on sneakers. Like you had to have the new J's, the new Jordans, and things like that. So that's something that remained a part of me. up until today, but now it kind of transitions to cowboy boots that we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
And so I worked at this sneaker store, and while working at this sneaker store, they had a videographer, and I thought it was the coolest job. He would use his camera, he would film shoes, celebrities and things like that would come to the store. I would watch him create these video pieces about celebrities and what they're wearing, and he would talk to celebrities. And to me, that was like super exciting. I was like, man, I want to do something like that. And honestly, between what I was doing and what I thought he was doing, his job looked super easy. It's like, you know what, I need an easy job like that, and it looks cool. And over time, I just sort of transitioned my degree plan to communications, radio, television, and film. And while working at that store, I got with him while doing my job, and on my own, I sort of shadowed him on different projects he was working on outside of my job, and it just became a passion.
Can you tell us some stories when you were shadowing?
Yeah. As you know, I live in Austin, so there's a big festival. It's the South by Southwest Festival that happens every year around April time. So the first week of it, it's it's film based. The second week of it is music based. And the store that I work for, it's a pretty popular. I think it still is, but it was a pretty popular brand in the store at the time. And so a lot of celebrities, and we were right off the drag off 6th Street where a lot of things happen. So a lot of celebrities would come in and out the store. And I was able to meet, at that time, Kendrick Lamar, before he became the Kendrick Lamar who he is right now. Let's see, Lil Wayne, Kevin Gates. And this is before these guys are who they are now. They were still popular back then, but just the ability to meet all of these guys through their passion of like sneakers and the sneaker culture. And at the same time, I'm watching this videographer sort of like just, talk to them, interview them, like you're interviewing me, and just being a part of that process was really cool, and it kind of fueled me to kind of keep going and doing what I'm doing right now.
You got your OG ticket to these artists. You could just
absolutely, man, absolutely. And honestly, being sort of like at the ground level at that point, I was able to sort of like rub shoulders with people of their entourages and things like that. So I built relationships, maybe not with certain artists, but I built relationships with their road managers or their merchandise managers and things like that. And one artist, I'll say I met him, but I built a relationship with someone in his camp. Have you ever heard of YG? He's an artist from LA, but I met someone through him, and we built a relationship. And so I don't know, I just have relationships not with certain artists, but I have relationships with people they know or people that work directly like in their sort of like movement.
So were you gonna ask a follow-up?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So what initial challenges or obstacles did you face when you first transitioned into the communications major?
Some of the options, some of the challenges mostly were like in my head, not really challenges that existed outside of my mind. For me, the challenges were, man, can I do this? What if I don't pass? Or what if this doesn't work out? What other job or what other degree plan can I do? And at the time, the Navy was actually paying for my college tuition, so they have their own sort of like restrictions and guidelines that I have to maintain in order for them to continue to pay for my classes. So for me, it was just the challenges that existed within my head, like, can I do this? Or what if this doesn't happen? And pretty quickly, I just overcame that because there were all just mental barriers that I just kind of broke through on my own.
Thank you.
So moving on from your path after graduation, what advice would you give current Townview students about making the most of their time here?
Don't take it for granted. You guys are doing that right, ladies and guys. You guys are doing this right now with this class that you're doing, this cluster. This is so cool. This is so dope. I wish I had this opportunity in 1997. But also, don't take it for granted, and surround yourself with different people. Like, jump outside. Do the things that are uncomfortable, and over time they will become comfortable. So that's something that I would sort of say to you guys: is kind of just keep going, keep pushing, and make yourself comfortable with the uncomfortable.
So I have a question. So, what advice can you tell students how you can help them pursue global like careers or leadership roles?
The cool thing that you guys have right now that I didn't have is the internet. And so with the internet, I mean, you literally have the internet at your fingertips, at your phones. That's a way to sort of search for resources, local events that are happening. What about local groups, local programs, local nonprofits? Just like really submerge yourself into whatever it is that you're interested in, And the more you submerge yourself into it, the more you become sort of like available to the opportunities that exist. And for example, what if I just think to myself, you know what, I wanna lose weight, which I do need to lose weight. But what if I just think that while I'm sitting on my couch versus, you know what, let me go outside, let me take a walk. Next thing you know, that walk turns into, you know what, I can run down the block one time. And that one block run could turn into 2 blocks. And while I'm running those 2 blocks, I meet someone else who's walking. Oh, you know what, now I got a friend and we're walking together. So just kind of just making yourself available and making yourself comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Did you ever apply that? Anytime during your career, do you ever feel like, oh, I did this because I stepped out, or I wouldn't have done this if I hadn't have stepped out?
Absolutely. And so there are like several projects that I have at work that initially public health didn't really draw my interest. Like, I don't know if this is going to be interesting to make videos or products about public health. But I started to challenge myself and I started to think of ways how to make it more engaging, how to make it cool, how to make people outside the known demographic to like, you know, to enjoy it. So just always thinking outside the box and sort of just challenging myself with different projects. How can I make this better than the last project? How can I push myself to stretch my knowledge to even further than it was before?
And you said you were Austin. Obviously, we're in Dallas, so we don't know that much about Austin. So we just want to ask, what's the culture like at Austin? What's Austin like?
Surprisingly, Austin's culture is very diverse and different. And honestly, I've heard this, and and to me, I think it's pretty true. You have Texas, and like the culture of Texas, and the politics of Texas, the thought process of Texas, and then you have Austin. Austin is the complete opposite. Austin is, in my opinion, from my experience, much more diverse, much more just cultural. Like you have the Mexican culture, you have Black culture, you have different religions, you have it's just a melting pot, and I think that comes from just the UT, the college campus being there. That's sort of a hub, and so you have people from all over the world attending that campus and people that support that campus in various ways, and so it's just multicultural.
So I have a question. It's more future based, but where do you see yourself in about 10 years?
Man, where do I see myself in 10 years? 10 years, so I'm 46 right now, and to y'all, that's probably like, oh man, he's old. But
no, you're young and beautiful.
So my wife and I, our daughter is she's 23. I have a son that's 16, so he's a junior right now in high school. And so 10 years from now, I see my wife and I being sort of like the old couple that's just traveling all the time and just doing stuff. And, you know, I don't want grandkids anytime soon, but I see us as being possibly closer to being grandparents or just traveling and just kind of just enjoying life and just visiting other countries, visiting people, you know, building relationships and things like that.
What are some spots you wish to visit?
Some places that I wish to visit. Let's see. I would being in the military, I kind of visited a lot of places already. One place that I want to visit that I just visited with my wife, we went to Turks and Caicos. And so I think what's next on our list that we want to visit, I don't know, maybe somewhere in Central America, maybe Brazil or Chile or something like that. I don't know.
You don't think there'll be a difference in perspective and experience if you went to the same country you went when you were in the Navy or now when you go on your own time?
Absolutely. And I think a lot has to do with maturity level. So when I was, you know, like 18, 19, 20, 25, some of the things on my list to do is like, we got to hit the club. You know what I'm saying? we got to get some drinks. You know, we got to dance. We got to have a good time. Versus now, my idea of fun is, you know what? I want to run on top of the mountain and look at the panoramic view of the city or the lake or the ocean and things like that. So mindset is probably the only difference. But I think the constant that remains the same is sort of like the cultural integration into like the local culture and people and just kind of enjoying that.
So how can students begin preparing now if they want to pursue global careers or leadership roles?
I would say maintain those connections through your teachers. If you don't have mentors, groups, local organizations, local authorities, the police, the firemen, like just maintaining and building relationships with people, because you don't know who you may need help from or reference from later down the line. Like if some of you ladies and guys are going to, you know, college, and let's say you're in a course and it's like, you know what, I know the fire chief in Dallas. he can hook me up on some information, or that'd be a good sort of a reference point for me to gather some more information. So I would say making connections, not only with your teachers but people outside of Townview as well.
Did you ever have that experience where you're like, I need help with this, and you call up a friend from like either your Navy or back from college?
All the time. So I have the same friend I mentioned earlier who we call Doughboy. He's in pharmaceuticals right now. So although he's not a doctor, I always call him up like, hey man, I have a headache, I have allergies. Like, what do you think? What do you think? And so that may be like on the lower level of reaching out to folks, but that's just a small example that any connection that I have with anyone, I always use it in my database, in my data bank. Oh, I have a friend who's a Dallas police officer, and so if there's a legal question I have or anything pertaining to the law, I just call him up like, hey man, what do you think about this? Is this legal? Or so I'm always maintaining relationships with folks that I've known over the years.
What is some advice you could give to students who may feel nervous about making these connections or just getting out into the world in general?
I would say believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't take anything for granted. And I said it earlier, but just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The old me would be much more introverted, and I'd be kind of shy talking to you guys. But why? You know, I talking to you guys now, I know small things about you. You like sports. You like country music. You like Western wear and things like that. And those things that I wouldn't have known if I didn't get outside of my comfort zone and say, you know what, let's just talk. Let's just see what's going on. And so I would say just getting outside of your comfort zone, being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
And you just mentioned it right now about the country, so I just wanted to ask you a little bit more. Like, in Austin, was that a big thing, or did you ever experience that too in the Navy, that country feeling?
Absolutely. So Austin is, I don't know if you know it or not, but Austin is considered the live music capital of the world, and I think it has a lot to do with South by Southwest. I'm not sure if that's before South by Southwest or after South by Southwest happened, but Austin is considered the live music capital of the world. So you can literally be walking down the street and you can always hear just live music, whether it's coming from a club, a bar, a speakeasy, or just a small shop. Like, there's music always happening. And I give you an example. It was a few years ago, but I was in Austin walking downtown, and music is going everywhere. And I heard this voice. I said, oh, man, that sounds like Erykah Badu. I'm just walking. And I walked by this sort of coffee shop, and it's Erykah Badu and Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan dancing on a regular table people are drinking coffee from, and they're just dancing and singing. And so I was like, what? That's crazy. But that's just an example that, Austin is the live music capital of the world. And as far as country music, we're in Texas, so country is always going on. Always. So yeah.
Can you tell us some of your favorite artists? Or
Morgan, obviously, he's like at the top of my list. I like Luke Combs. Zach Bryan is my favorite artist. As far as country music is concerned. And then old school, George Strait, some of the old school country guys. New school, I guess Shabuzi. I like kind of what he does with country music, but typically anything that Zach Bryan does, I'm like on it. It's on my Apple playlist all the time.
Any concerts? Have you ever been to any concerts? Can you just tell us a little bit more about that live music experience? Because we don't really have that here. We do have artists that come into Dallas a lot, but I don't think I've ever experienced that same feeling for just live music all over Dallas.
So concert wise, one of the probably best concerts that I've attended is I don't know. You guys ever heard of Prince? Yeah. All right. I just, I feel like I'm dating myself sometimes with Prince in Austin. And usually I do a lot of my live music sort of ventures during South by Southwest, because that's a time when a lot of artists are just in Austin versus if you go to a concert, you're like going for one particular artist and they may have some other, performances before his act. But during South by Southwest, literally, it's just tons of people like in Austin at one time. And so that's a great opportunity just to see different shows at one time. But going to the Prince show, that I'm a Prince fan. I like Prince music. And so that was a good experience just to see Prince. And one thing about music, whether it's country music, whether it's R&B, whether it's hip hop or whatever, it's a great sort of like bridge for people and cultures. Like you don't have to be a white guy to listen to country music. You don't have to be a black guy to listen to hip hop. So to me, music is like a great place for everybody to sort of come and break bread together.
Did you always start like that? Did you always start with did you grow up with country, or did you like have to ease into it, or were you like put on by someone, or just all music?
So growing up, my grandfather, he would listen to country, but as I mentioned earlier before we started the pod, like I thought it was corny. He used to wear cowboy boots. He wore this old straw hat, this old Wrangler shirt, and I was like, this is kind of corny. Like, I don't even want my friends to see this dude. Like, this is crazy. But over time, I just appreciated that, and when I got into the military, that really submerged me into like a place where I was able to meet with people not from Dallas. I met with people from, Wisconsin, North Dakota, West Virginia, and things like that. And they were bringing their cultures of music to me, and I was able to bring my cultures of music to them. So I also would sort of give credit to joining the Navy, giving me an opportunity to listen and embrace other like genres of music.
So you said you joined the Navy. Would you recommend like any seniors that are unsure of what?
Yeah, and you know what? That's so funny. So if you would have asked me this question, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago, I'd probably say no. I'd probably say no, go to college. Go to college, get you a college degree, go to trade school, which are still great opportunities and things that I would recommend. But if someone were to ask me, hey, should I join the military? I would say yes. I'd sort of weigh out like your reasoning. Why do you want to join the military? The reason I joined the military is because I didn't apply for any colleges, so I didn't have any scholarships, and I didn't really know how that process will work. And so joining the military at that time, it just allowed me an opportunity to just leave Dallas and travel and do something. But while in the military, I learned about college, and they were able to pay for my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, and my master's degree. And honestly, at some point, they're probably going to pay for my PhD.
So lastly, we want to ask you a signature question for the series, and it's, if you could go back and give advice to your high school self at Townview, what would you say?
I would say believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Just keep going. Don't stop. And get outside of your head, because a lot of times all your challenges are right here in your head, and you just assume that they're challenges when they're really not. And I would also say surround yourself with people that are like-minded or you want to grow from. I never want to be in a situation to where I'm the smartest person, or I got the most money, or I just have the most input to say. I would rather be in spaces to where I can learn about you, and you can tell me about you, and hopefully I can take some of those things and apply it to my own life and make me a better person. So overall, just kind of believe in yourself. Surround yourself with people that you either want to be like, that you can learn from, or you can grow from.
All right, well, that was all the questions we had. I think this is a really good interview. So I just wanted to say thank you, Mr. Martin, for sharing your journey with us today, from your years of health management to your service in the Navy and your career in media and design. Your story shows the many paths that Townview education can open, and your words give today's students motivation to take advantage of every opportunity and to obviously believe in yourself. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for this SBM 50 and TMC 30 Alumni Series. Each conversation reminds us of the powerful legacy of Townview and the impact our graduates continue to make. Be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Until next time, this has been KSB, the voice of Townview. Stay awesome.
Class of 26.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add them on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook. Take care.